Marjorie Taylor Greene is clashing with her own party, and the resistance is growing. What's driving the rift, and what does it mean for Republican unity headed into 2026? We'll talk about that now. But if you recall, Holly, when a couple of weeks ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene, although she's not in the Senate, but she was encouraging almost like a revisiting of the vote to shut down the government. Mm-hmm. And of course, the House Speaker was like, "We're not having anything to do with this.
Right.
It's the Senate's problem. We've already passed our deal." But she was basically saying, "Let's get the government going again, even if we have to back off or change our ideas a little bit on health care."
You know what's interesting too about her? So she's been considered since the moment she got elected as being basically a MAGA diehard, right? She's a strong Trump supporter, pretty far right, and yet she has been breaking ranks with the bulk of her party recently. One of the things that she did was she signed the discharge petition for the Epstein files, right? She's one of the 3 Republicans who signed that, but now she's saying, look, we have to stop doing this. She told CNN last week that she's not putting the blame on the president, but putting the blame on the speaker and the leader. So the speaker of the House and the leader of the Senate,
both from
both
her
of
own
them,
party.
both from her own party, saying she put that on X and said they should not be doing this. This should not be happening. And she says, I'm not playing loyalty games. I'm going to carve my own lane, right? And I saw something where President Trump was like, hey, what's going on with Marge? Right, because she's been pretty loyal, but she's saying, look, I'm not just I haven't find her exact words, but I'm not just here to support the president, but I am here to do what's right for the constituents that elected me.
And she has long held that the Epstein file should be released. Like you said, she's one of 3 Republicans, and that's been held up a little bit by the House Speaker because he has not yet sworn in. I don't know if he's sworn in that the newly elected Democratic representative.
He has not. And that's one of the issues. Yep.
And there's probably no reason for that. Well, there's only one reason for that, which is a problem. I don't know. I've seen Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I've never been a fan of hers, but I've seen her a lot on the media lately, and she's working hard. She's trying to, I don't know if she's trying to bridge some gaps or what she's trying to do, but to the extent that she is shaking things up, maybe for both sides, I don't know. I hate to say I got to hand it to her, but I kind of got to hand it to her. She's doing something to try to move things forward, and that can't be a bad thing necessarily.
She is. So she actually, some of the other things she's done, she's criticized the Trump administration's military intervention in Iran, if you remember that one.
Right.
She took the side of Gaza, that Israel's approach to Gaza was a genocide, and that's not something that a lot of people on her side agree with. So it's interesting, right, that she's like, what would be the purpose for her to carve her own lane? She's not going to run for Senate. She was discouraged from doing that by the Trump administration, it sounds like, and so she's going to stay as a representative. So the question is, like, why is she doing this? She's still blaming Democrats for creating the healthcare crisis, but maybe it's hitting close to home, because I've seen things that she's posted where she says, if these, like, my grown children can't afford for you to double the cost of their health care, right, by taking away this subsidy. So I don't know. Maybe it's hitting close to home.
Maybe that's what it needs for a lot of these representatives from both sides. Maybe some
Right.
Democrats need to see what it feels like to get hit close to home on some of these issues, including budget deficits and whatnot. And maybe Republicans need to understand what it's like to not have health care for their loved ones and the people that they care about. Because, I mean, because you can sit there from both sides, and it seems like the easy fix would be for the Democrats to just come to the table. And I keep saying that, but they don't want to do that.
But they have come to the table. I think, to be fair, they have come to the table. But the Republicans are saying this is we're not going to compromise, and the Democrats seem to be saying also we're not going to compromise.
Right.
So they do try to say, okay, well, here's what we propose, and here's what we propose, but then there's no meshing.
Right. Do we know, I'm putting you on the spot here, if there's another vote set anytime soon?
There is a vote in the Senate today, but they don't expect it to have any kind of different outcome. So basically, we're still in a stalemate. In fact, one of the things I saw this morning is that Speaker Johnson said that people could prepare for this to be the longest shutdown ever. And right now, the longest previous shutdown was, I think, 35 days, maybe 36 days. It was under the first Trump administration.
We're about 14 now.
Yeah, day 14 today.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take to get that to end, because I had heard, I think, Holly, that the military's money would run out tomorrow. So our military personnel are going to be without funds as early as tomorrow. And some people felt like that might shake somebody up.
Maybe.
That when your military's
Yeah.
not employed, what do you do? Because they're not all essential employees. So
Right.
suddenly your military force is cut by half or maybe
I'm
more.
sure people in the world are watching that.
Right, absolutely. And America in bad situation. I don't know what's happening with our national parks right now, the level of care that they're getting, because we've seen that as something that's not essential in the past. And
I know Utah has said they're going to step up and keep our public parks or our national parks open, and so Utah will help backfill that some. But look, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, it really seems like, I don't know if she had an aha moment, but it does seem to be a real shift for her. If you know Laura Loomer, she's also very, very far right. She's very influential with President Trump. She's been able to get people fired because of things that they posted in the past. But she said about Marjorie, she said, "Don't be surprised if she runs for president in 2028 as a Democrat."
no, no, I don't know that the Democrats would embrace her. I don't know that. I mean, this is a question maybe there's no answer to, but you do have to wonder what's in it for her, what she's doing right now,
Well,
unless it is to, like you say, carve her own lane and give her.
and
give
it
her,
may not be political. Maybe it is. I mean, maybe she's looking down the road and saying, what's going to happen in the 2026 midterms? What's going to happen after 2028? I don't know. But it is a really interesting shift to me that she has really started to pull away from. I would have classified her as one of the people bound to Donald Trump's hip, right? Whatever he said, she was going to support. But her quote actually was, "I am not a blind slave to the president." I did find it. "I am not a blind slave to the president, and nobody should be," she said.
and she's been clear about that with the release of the Epstein files as
Yeah.
well, because obviously
Yeah.
that's not something the president wants, and she's one of the votes that's getting the majority on the side
right.
of releasing it as soon as
Yeah.
we get the other representatives sworn in.
That's right. So I don't know what this means for the Republican Party. I know that she was on Sunday talk shows and saying things like, "I was around the Capitol yesterday, and what did I not see? Republicans working on a solution for this." Right? I mean, kind of poking Mike Johnson in the eye, Speaker Johnson, by him extending the recess. So this week, again, he's not calling them back into session, telling them it's a work week in their districts. But our own Representative Blake Moore said people in Utah are going to probably start feeling the impacts of this shutdown.
Yeah, and when does it get to the point where we do something about it? Because it's shut day 14. I mean, do we go a month? Do we go 2 months?
Well,
I mean, you're
Last
shut down.
record was 35 days, 35, 36.
And that number is just awful to even think about.
Right.
A month without any.
And Speaker Johnson said, "You better prepare for this to be the longest shutdown ever."
And I'm glad that that Thune is scheduling votes periodically in the Senate. I mean, I think you have to do that. You should put the pressure on so that the
Right.
public can see what's happening, so that you can say, okay, we tried, and maybe at some point somebody looks and says, hey, can we just get 2 or 3 Democrats to go one way or the other, or maybe 6 or 8 Republicans to go the other way?
You know what always happens is at the very end, there's enough pressure somewhere that somebody says, "Okay, for this kind of deal, I will switch my vote."
Right.
That's what happens.
We're not there yet. Maybe we will be.